It's time for Mike Erie's show. He's ripping off Cullinane. He wants to find some fans to talk to, 'cause he's lonely on Saturdays. Mike was told to come up with something, and I guess this is what he did. We should give him some points for trying. Kirk wants to know what the point of this is. Just a warning for all you guys, you'll never get this hour back in your life. This is Mike and the Minifans. Mike is talking with you. This is Mike and the Minifans. Mike is talking with you. This is Mike and the Minifans. This is Mike and the Minifans. Mike is talking with you.
All right, so we've got a couple of good guests lined up, and I'm excited to get into some tweets I was reading. Well, of course, I'm going to be dressed down by a couple Minifans first, and I think I have an explanation, but we'll see. But then I'm excited to get to some other late-breaking news here on Mike and the Minifans involving Turtle Boy. So we'll get into that as well. Bring him on, Justin. We've got Visionless Dave out on the West Coast of North Dakota, and Blind Prison Mike. What's going on, boys?
How we doing?
So I asked you guys both on because you were two of the, and I appreciate you coming on because other people were not able to make it, but you were two of the more vocal people critical of my work over the last month. So I guess I'll just start with the floor is yours, as they say. Have at me, and then I'll respond the best I can.
All right. I guess I'll take the lead there. So obviously Kirk retweeted that clip from the rundown this morning of Ziggy Robinson kind of airing his frustrations with the amount of content you put out during the hiatus, specifically referencing how last time when Kirk came back in March, he was pretty quick to kind of jump on you and say, you probably could have had more content. There's probably more you could have done. So I would just say, what is kind of your explanation for doing the amount of content you did? Because the way Ziggy set it up is, aside from your regular shows, which would be Mike and the Minifans, all the pre-soccer,
all the regular scheduled shit.
Yeah. I believe his accusation was there was only about 5 hours of content put out since July 27th. Whereas,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you. So Ziggy Robinson referenced my tweet on July 29th that said I want to do a show pretty much every day. And at that time, that was the plan. And then about a week later, something came up where I was told to lay low, keep it light, and stay off Twitter. And I was told kind of do the scheduled shows that I had, but not do anything else. The one I feel like I should have done and didn't is Go for Geary. And the reason I didn't do that is because it would be taking calls that I was kind of nervous I couldn't necessarily give a great answer to because I didn't know everything that was going on at that time. But that's what I was told right around the time of the Big Cat podcast was released. It seemed like kind of a serious matter, or maybe it was done just to fool me so we would have fun shit on Mike time. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll get to that Monday. But is that a fair explanation or no?
So just to clarify, around the time of the Big Cat interview, you were told by, whoever it was, either Steve or Kirk or whoever, that just to kind of limit the YouTube content, just keep it with the regular stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, specifically then, if we go for Geary, I remember listening back to the first episode back after Kirk's March hiatus. You guys were talking about Go for Geary, and you had brought up that, sometimes the calls get a little slow, which they do. I enjoy Go for Geary. I watch it every time. I call in all the time. And I remember Kirk saying, even if the calls get slow, just do the show and talk about other shit in between, because it is a really good way. That show, Go for Geary, especially while Kirk is gone, is really the only direct connection we have to the show.
Right.
And
so that's the one I wanted to do, but was kind of afraid to. Maybe I should have asked specifically about that because it would have been a better way for the fans to communicate. But I was told, keep doing Mike and the Minifans, because if all of a sudden I don't show up for a show that's regularly scheduled, people are going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Right. But other than that, kind of keep it light, stay off Twitter, lay low. Those were the directives. Blind Prison Mike, any comments or thoughts?
So my issue, and I think it's not necessarily about the break. I think, right. and Steve kind of falls into this as well. I'm not going to let him off of it, but for you in particular, you were, as a Minifan, you were like our Rocky. You got your chance, you got to the big time, and then you kind of lost the eye of the tiger, in my opinion, where the fan engagement was kind of it has been non-existent for a while. You see
for a while before
even before.
In what way would you say?
Just responding to people, going back and forth with them. There, you see what Cullinane's doing with people all the time.
Well, I respond to DMs every day, and I do multiple shows with fans every week.
Yeah, but we had a civil war going on, and no one was anywhere to be found.
Well, that was during the break.
Yes. Well, I'm saying in general, I don't see you interacting with fans.
That's what do you mean in general? Because you're talking about something during the break where I was told to lay low. And I feel like if I'm on Twitter tweeting about Blind Mike's sneakers, that's not exactly laying low.
There's been multiple civil wars, so I'm just like that one in particular. But in the past, you're not interactive with people through on space on Twitter.
Well, then if that goes back to before, then that's something maybe I could correct and look into. Would you agree with that, Visualist Dave?
Yeah, I agree. I think it predates the hiatus, definitely. I can definitely remember it kind of winding down, where I know you used to be way more involved in the Miniverse, even on the main show, when Kirk would kind of ask you like, oh, well, what's going on with this thing with MHB? And like you would be right on it and you would know everything going on. Mm-hmm. And it feels like that has just slipped away a little bit. I don't know if it's because I know on Mincel Intel you said you had muted a couple hundred Minifan accounts. So
that's an estimate, but yeah, probably.
Well, yeah, it's a high estimate, even if it's off by a little bit. But even if you're not getting in the mud on civil wars, like there's always funny memes floating around or old clips of old shows. I feel like there's ways to stay engaged that are positive and not all just like, oh,
that's
you have
fair.
to.
Yeah, okay, you know what? I'll give you guys because that's fair. The other shit is like it was kind of out of my control. At least I felt it was. Yeah, but that's fair. And you know what? Maybe a lot of it is that I feel like a lot of the shit shifted towards Discord. So I did feel kind of lost and left out of that stuff because I'm just not on there and I'm not able to keep up with it really. So maybe that's why. But I'll try and be better at that.
There's still plenty going on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I just joined the Discord like a week ago, and apparently Discord is dead. So that's what they say. So I don't even know if there's much going on in there anymore.
Although you know what, it's tough to say because I see what you're saying, and I'll try and be better at that. But then it's also like, should I be getting involved with a Blind Mike sneakers war when it's just some asshole that should be ignored?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot, if you're informed on the situation, there's a lot that kind of went into it. I don't think as a group of adults, the Minifans should ever look to someone to like settle their disputes, or they don't need like a Twitter babysitter. But the reality of the situation is a lot of things kind of pop up. And I just felt like it's definitely not in your job description to do that. But, for Kirk, like being gone on a hiatus, maybe if you had jumped on it early and had the two guys on to hash it out, like I doubt it gets as bad as it did,
Maybe. I mean, again, I talked to Carano and it didn't seem like he wanted me to jump in. Although when I did comment on it a little bit, he was appreciative. So I don't know if
all right, my using that was a mistake. I just mean general conversations. Like how many times have you watched Better Than It Used to Be? Probably the best show on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I see what
and that kind of just conversational. Like I remember before you were in this position, you were back and forth with people commenting, going back, retweeting people, having discussions, comments. And it just doesn't seem like that's. It seems like it's
part
more
of that.
professional.
Part of that might be. Well, here's a good example, and this is an example of me being wrong. I shouldn't think like this, but I'm listening today, and I'm listening to the Minifans show with Chris and Kevin from Bristol, and they get to me, and Chris, who I do this fucking cheer show with, is like, it comes up and he's like, this cheer show, like he's shitting on it, which I get, that's funny and that's what people want to hear, but I'm listening to it like, hey man, like you asked me to do it with you. I thought it'd be fun to do. Like, go fuck yourself. And then I get all worked up. So a lot of times I'm like, I don't want to listen to myself get criticized, which is probably the opposite of what I should be thinking. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I think I would say you definitely, no one can deny that you get a lot of criticism on the show, but I do think the majority of the criticism you get is from people who care and want to see you succeed. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are just going to be idiots anyway, but like the way the Miniverse kind of works in my eyes is that people love the show so much that they're very like protective of it. It's very sacred to them. So it's the same with Big Steve. You know, people are always on his ass if he does one thing. And I think I do think the majority of it comes from a place of wanting you to succeed. And it's like Big Cat said in your interview with him, like, you can't, if people don't want to listen to the shows you do or whatever, then they don't have to listen. Like, you don't really need to listen to that kind of criticism. As long as you like enjoy doing it and you're staying connected to the fans, I think that's the important part.
Yeah, I get very. Go ahead.
No, the thing too that I caught, it was even at Saco when I know it was probably a joke. The D-list, the C-list or D-list Minifans, that
was a complete.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, the interaction with them, like I would consider myself one of them. Interaction, just conversationally, just engaging, being a part of it.
Well, I went out of my way to go to a golf course to go see those guys.
Well, Aquabog, and you left after you recorded everything, like you know what I mean. So it's.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Did you go to the golf course just to make that video and then leave?
Pretty much, yeah. They asked me to come take the first drive. That's what I went for. I'm not going to golf.
I understand that, and I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying that maybe being involved in the community that values the show is a good idea. I think that's what Kirk built his career on, and I think that's what.
I'm confused. I went to Aquabog and was I not cordial to you guys and hung out with you and talked to you? You met my fucking girlfriend. Like this seems a little. It seems a little
like no. It appeared like you went there to make a video and leave.
I went there to make a video. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Again,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if we break it down, like people's complaint in that situation would be that they wanted to hang out and spend more time with you. So it's there is kind of a sense where it's like sometimes even when you do this show or other shows, there is the sense where
I'm with you to a point. But Blind Prison Mike, I introduced you to my girlfriend. I was very nice to you. You flipped me over in the pool. We were having a nice time. That seems a little unfair. How long should I have stayed with you?
That's not the point. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's just a specific example of it appeared.
Where I went after that, I didn't go into a hole. I went across the street where other Minifans were.
Did you walk around and talk to them?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Mike, I'm saying is you don't appear to be engaged with the community.
I talked to Minifans the entire 2 days.
There is just there's a little bit of energy where it's like everything you're doing kind of feels like a chore, where I feel like you should be enjoying it. And
I think you're wrong.
How so?
I feel like I love hanging out with the Minifans. That was my favorite part of it.
Even the way you just said, like, I'm out of my way to go to the golf course, like. Just the kind of perspective you have on it, I think makes it seem like you're kind of doing a chore.
They asked me to do it, and I immediately said yes.
Mike, we're telling you how the community feels.
All right.
It's not. We're not trying to convince you of it. We're telling you, hey, as two people that genuinely, I really like you, but you're losing touch with us.
All right,
as a group.
And again, if you break down that complaint, it's people complaining that they want to spend more time with you, which is not like, oh, you're terrible, we want you off the show. It's like, shit, like I want to hang out with Blind Mike, things like that. So it's just, I think the more engagement you can get in, the better. Just stay connected.
I'll try and be on top of that. Now, the way I will not engage with you, Blind Prison Mike, is by throwing all kinds of slurs at you on Twitter. This is what really had me fascinated. We were talking before the show. Apparently, Turtle Boy is on a fucking rant, and I don't know what crawled up his ass with this whole thing with Kirk. I don't know what he doesn't get about it, but most of it's him trying to get attention. But if you would, Blind Prison Mike, what are some of the things that Turtle Boy was saying to you before the show here today?
So, a direct quote, arguing with him about whether or not he made KNC or KNC made him, which, of course, it was... We all know he made Kirk and Callahan what it is. And he, as a cop, I should know better that he was very widely known. And he said, I'm making my points. And he said, I said that he argued that I should know better. I said, no, it's evidence that you've lost whatever you thought you had. And he said, no, it's evidence that you're a butthurt little faggot.
Well, we don't need to get into that. But what is the actual KNC quote? What specifically did he say?
I made mention. I said KFC made you famous, and Jerry, unbelievably, is trying to keep you relevant. And sad that someone in that position is keeping you relevant. And he said, "Are people really saying that about Turtle Boy?" And I made the point that they are. And then he went down that little tirade.
So he thinks, is Turtle Boy, am I to take away from that Turtle Boy is under the impression that he helped the ratings of Kirk and Callahan somehow?
That's the vibe I get from it.
How would that even work? Like, isn't his base kind of in Worcester, or at least at that time, mostly in Worcester, or am I wrong about that?
I think that's accurate.
What? No, go ahead, Visual Steve.
I'm trying to interpret this from a logical mind because he can't possibly think that me and him had it out in the DMs maybe a day or two ago, and the point he kind of made to me was he doesn't like people saying that he only exists because of KNC. He likes to think that he had his nice, healthy subscriber base before that, and that they shouted him out, but only because he was the only one brave enough to touch the Murchison story and stuff like that. So, I mean, we know he's a guy that has an inflated ego. He thinks everything he does matters to the max. I don't know how you really felt about it, Mike, but on Jerry's show, that July 30th episode, I think it was, where he kind of basically 4 days into Kirk's hiatus, he was asking questions like, "Oh, how long are they going to pay this guy?
Where's the news?"
And then 4 minutes later, he's like, "Oh, well, me and Kirk are like family." And I'm like, "Really?" Because to me, if you're like family in that situation, you say, "Yeah, of course Barstool should pay him. Like, he's worth it. He does a great show. He's been really good to me." And so we basically had it out in our DMs over that, where I was telling him that's just, in my opinion, kind of a snake move. And his conclusion was, I guess we have a different definition of family. So I don't know. I have no use for Turtle Boy. He hates fun. I've said it on the rundown.
Yeah.
Every aspect of the show I love, he hates. So I couldn't be more different than him. And
he does seem to hate fun, and he's the kind of guy that will get annoyed at that. I feel like he'll go against, if he hears this clip, he'll say, "Oh, that's bullshit."
Mike,
in a very angry tone, which that kind of guy loves fun.
What if I could tell you that I know he's going to see this clip because he's in the comments right now?
Oh, please, Justin, fire away. What's he saying?
Well, he said he said what he called Mike.
The slur.
And then he said, "Hey, Mike, tell them the truth about why you canceled, or should I?"
Okay, asshole. So that's what I was really annoyed about, because I know this guy thinks he's holding this over my head. When Kirk went away because he was having a pretty difficult time, I think we can all agree, Turtle Boy, for some bizarre reason, started questioning why me and Steve aren't doing the news every day. So I responded to that, and I saw him going off on Twitter, so my immediate instinct was to ask him to come on. And then not long after that, Steve was like, "Probably not the best idea." So I contacted Turtle Boy. I was like, "Hey, the more I thought about it, not a great idea." And Turtle Boy is fucking questioning. What do you mean, not a great? Why? Now let me out. And so Steve talks to him, and kind of trying to keep the peace, and like, "Hey man, it's not. Maybe down the road we can do this, but." And Turtle Boy's like, "Fuck you guys," and he thinks he's gonna hold this over our head, like he's threatening us or something. Fuck you, Turtle Boy. I'll have you on another time to debate this heavy issue, but there was something more important going on than your stupid fucking blog. So stop trying to get attention with it. Stop trying to use Kirk, who did make you, by the way. I wouldn't have known who the fuck you are if it wasn't for Kirk and Callahan, more specifically Kirk Minahan. So fuck you, Turtle Boy. And you can keep coming at me. You can DM me and call me an asshole all you want, but go fuck yourself. You're a joyless asshole. That's why you're on the Jerry Callahan show and not the Kirk Minahan show. You hate fun. Fucking live a little. Stop, relax. They get this guy, I hate the parody songs and the Minifans and all that. Well, then don't listen to it. Who gives a fuck? Just relax, Turtle Boy. There was a situation happening for the last month. That's why I want to have you on to yell about fucking me and Steve on the RSS feed. All right?
Justin, can you clarify one thing for me? Is he in the comments begging for donations?
Good.
He's not in the comments.
Oh.
He's
all
calling
right.
Mike a liar,
Okay.
and he's saying, "Put me on, put me on."
What am I lying about?
Is he advertising single Asians near you or anything like that? He's just plugging his blog because that's all he seems to do.
I don't believe
Yeah.
so.
I have no use for Turtle Boy. None.
What am I possibly lying about? Did he say what I'm lying about, Justin?
He just says liar. I have DMs. I'm reading the DMs now.
Okay.
I'm not threatening you.
I said I thought about it. I didn't want to do it. It's not worth me having a meltdown over something silly right now. Blah blah blah.
He said that's not what Kirk said or Steve.
What's not what Kirk said?
Uh,
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to have this argument with him
Yeah.
via comments. We'll see. Maybe this will be for next week or something.
I wish I could hear
that
Justin.
just going because I was nice about it. The Turtle Boy. I was like, hey, I kind of talked it over with Steve. It's not the best thing to do, and he was arguing with me. I was like, this is not a fucking debate. I'm not debating you, Turtle Boy. I changed my mind. I didn't want to have you on the show. I'm sorry. I don't know. Anything else on Turtle Boy, boys?
He's a
I
snake.
couldn't hear anything Justin was saying, so I have no idea. But I can assume
It was all very good stuff.
I can assume that it's he's being some sort of way.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll. Jesus, I was told to lay low. Now I've got a war with Turtle Boy brewing on my hands. Terrific. The other thing I'm curious about what the Minifans feel is, do we think Brandon Walker is going to be like an actual enemy, or is that going to blow over eventually?
He had me until last night.
Yeah.
He did.
What changed?
Well, even last week when he was deleting tweets and shit like that.
I feel like he was trying to engage, and he got a little carried away. Maybe had a few drinks.
Well,
With that,
I
but
mean, who can blame? Who
I
among
think
us?
he's trying. That's all you can ask. He's trying to really engage. He's making some weird bedfellows, but
Yeah, I guess when I think of enemies, I classify them like there's level 1, which are people who are actively trying to like ruin the show, contact advertisers. He's obviously not one of those.
No.
I do think it was a snake move of him to go behind Kirk's back and complain to management. People keep telling me, oh, he's actually trying to just be loyal and protect Kate, but he has his own Twitter account. If he wants to get out there and protect Kate in that moment, like go and start tweeting, don't be a pussy and go behind everybody's back and complain to Erica. So I've gone back and forth on Brandon Walker. I like the engagement. I do think he's quaking in his boots. I think he's a little bit nervous for Monday, purely because he keeps saying, oh, I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
Right.
But I do enjoy him getting in the mud on Twitter with Minifans.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's just funny. Like when he tweeted something about Cheers and people started responding, Mike does a Cheers podcast, and he goes, I'm sure it sucks. Like shit like that is actually funny, and it's a good way, kind of an easy way, but it's a good way to get Minifans on your side immediately. If you just shit on me, people are going to be like, maybe he's not so bad. But it's tough to play the I'm joking card when you seriously went to the CEO. Were you joking when you went to Erica and said, hey, do something here? Because my whole question with that is, and Brendan Walker thinks I'm an idiot for saying this, I guess, but my thing with that is the implication would be that they should take action.
Yeah.
And I don't know what action would be other than a suspension or firing or some sort of reprimanding.
Yeah.
So I don't think Brandon wanted to get Kirk fired by any means. But when you go to the CEO of a company and say, here's my complaint about this employee, that's kind of the implication.
Yeah, I think deep down he wanted action. And I think on that Barstool Radio segment or whatever it was, Portnoy was basically daring him to say, like, fire Kirk. Like, I think in his mind, Portnoy was like, let's see what this idiot will say on the air to dig himself deeper. Because if you're complaining to the CEO, you're basically asking for action to be taken. And I'm sure he wasn't asking for like, oh, can you call Kirk and ask him to stop? Like that doesn't work. So he was clearly looking for some kind of like management action, which is.
I think it was mishandled. I think, it seemed like Brandon dug his heels in on saying, I was wrong to do that, but the mental health thing wasn't a joke, and then that became kind of the focus of the argument. But and I don't think it was a sarcastic comment that he kind of meant, I think. It was sort of a joke and sort of not. But I got real worked up when we did the podcast. I got all worked up over that specifically. But I think what we should have been more focused on is the fact that the guy went to the CEO of the company, or even if he went to Dave, that's a pretty big That's going up the ladder a ways to say, do something about this guy, which is kind of a shitty thing to do to a coworker whose cell phone number you've had. And in some form or fashion, they talked about doing a podcast together.
Yeah. And
I don't know how far it got, but Brandon Walker could reach out to Kirk and say, hey, could you go easy on Kate or something?
And also, it was kind of out of nowhere. Like, we fought harder battles within Barstool, I'd say, with Ellie Schnitt or Kay Marco. Like, the Kate one, it was just a lot of right-wing people that were upset, not necessarily just Minifans, a lot of stoolies. And then, of course, that idiot Turtle Boy's tweet is what sparked it off, not to get back to Turtle Boy, who's clearly not even a Minifan.
Oh, definitely not. He hates the Kirk Minahan show. He just wants it to be the Jerry Callahan podcast hosted by Kirk Minahan.
Featuring Big Steve, yeah.
Yeah, and Turtle Boy.
Yeah.
But we can get back to Turtle Boy if we want, because there's a few Jerry clips I want to play. I know we're all over the place here, but Turtle Boy got me rattled. I didn't think he was going to come at me in the comments. Play me, Justin, what was the clip you mentioned? Not the one I wanted to play, but the one where Turtle Boy was a little more prominent. Play that one.
Okay, let me just bring it up.
This is the Jerry Callahan episode, not the first one where they talked about Kirk, but the one that Kirk referenced in his Periscope the other day.
I think they should keep the show going. Like when Tucker's off, the Tucker Carlson show still goes. Somebody else fills in for him, I like Kirk. I love the Kirk Minahan show. I don't want to upset Minifans out there, but I would like to hear a Steve Robinson show, because I find Steve interesting and he's a smart guy. I know you don't like him, but I would listen to a Steve Robinson podcast while Kirk's getting help.
Oh, he could never do it. I mean, his whole life is just worshiping Kirk and
he used to fill in for Howie.
Yeah, those days are over. Now his whole life, do you think someone could have stepped in for Charlie Manson when they arrested Manson? Could someone just step in and be the leader of the Manson family? I don't think so.
Well, that requires unique.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
So a couple things there. First of all, Turtle Boy. I don't know if you know how cable programming works. The reason that the Tucker Carlson show just doesn't exist, or exists when Tucker Carlson isn't there, is because there's 24 hours of programming they have to fill. They can't just play blank air, whereas a podcast is different. You're not held to that kind of a schedule. It is a different show. If it's Steve Robinson filling in for Kirk Minahan, it just is a different show. And this idea, go ahead.
Just one thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Tucker Carlson is reading off a teleprompter, right? And he has writers.
I assume in interviews it's more off the cuff.
Yeah, interviews, but it's not nearly the same. It's like a much more structured show with a backroom staff.
It's just completely different for a million reasons.
Yeah. Go on.
But my other issue with that clip is this idea that Jerry has that Steve's career is somehow over because he's not following the footsteps of Buck Sexton. What Steve has done is he's not only shown that he could fill in on right-wing radio for Howie Carr and produce that type of show, but now he also does the job of multiple producers on a more fun comedy show that also gets into politics. He doesn't have to be this straight-laced right-wing guy, and he's on a much bigger show than I would say either Howie Carr, Jerry or Howie Carr. There are definitely more people that listen to the Kirk Minahan show than an AM political talk station in Boston. So I think Steve's advanced his career tremendously, and yet Jerry's got this idea that because he's not Buck Sexton, that I don't know why he keeps bringing that name up, Buck Sexton, that Steve's career is somehow over.
And I'll tell you why Jerry and Turtle Boy are confused. It's because Big Steve likes to have fun. I've made the analogy where it's kind of similar to how Kirk can talk sports at any time. Big Steve can just jump into politics anytime. Like that's second nature to him. He enjoys talking about it a little more than Kirk enjoys talking about sports, but that's like he does it anyway on Twitter. He's intellectually curious about politics, and that doesn't change because he's doing this show. I think it shows like very clearly that he didn't want to be Buck Sexton because he left that setup where he was in a good spot at Howie Carr.
He took a risk. Rather than being forced into doing a podcast the way Jerry is.
And he said it himself.
He'd rather be doing AM talk. Whereas Steve couldn't be doing that and chose not to.
Yeah.
Prison Mike, any thoughts on this?
No, I think you guys summarized it really well. I think Steve may have not taken the track that that Buck took, but I think it rounded him out. You know, he has a lot more different ways to go than traditional.
Steve Robinson is like an onion, where the deeper you peel into him, the more interesting he gets. I don't think Buck Sexton is going to be that interesting if you peel back the layers.
Although he didn't engage either much this past couple months.
Well, I have a defense of that. I'm a big Rob fan. I get killed for this on the rundown, but Mike, you can probably attest to this. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that Big Steve is handling, where if it's the relationship between Barstool, you know, future plans for what's going on with the show. And he'll be the first one to tell you he's not like an amazing on-air guy. I mean, Kirk makes him really interesting. But as far as hosting his own show or something, like, that's not his role. He's a producer. He's kind of a behind-the-scenes guy that has grown to thrive on the air with Kirk.
Well, to an extent, that's what I said a couple weeks ago, where like I get the criticism of me, which is kind of a lie because then I get all mad about it when it happens. But I do get it to an extent. But with Steve, it baffled me that people were like, "Oh, Steve's not working." It's like if you just realize the amount that guy worked, I'm amazed that any Minifan.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying he should be producing content. It's the engagement. It's keeping that line open. That's all I'm referring to.
You're very needy, blind prison, Mike. I thought we had a good relationship before this. I didn't know.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean keeping that line open. I feel like it's important. We were all, not that we're not owed to know what's happening with someone else's life and mental health, and we just hope for the best and pray for the best. But it's just that line of the interaction.
I hear you. Where you're used to us being on Twitter all day, every day, and then it kind of disappears. So I understand that.
Right.
That's all. I'm not one of these that are complaining you shouldn't be getting paid. Why are you getting paid? That's none of our business, and it's none of we shouldn't be worrying about it. Content wise,
people should try and make sure everyone loses their job. That's
I know.
If you listen to the Kirk Minahan show, that's always what you should do: is go after people's employers.
Right.
That's the real lesson of the show.
That's the goal, right? Silence the haters.
Trust me, I get that.
Well, that kind of, I mean,
Mike,
I don't know. Do we?
People want to know.
Go ahead.
Everyone in the comment is saying, "Why isn't Mike having Turtle Boy on? Why isn't Mike having Turtle Boy on?" So I said I'd ask. Do you want to have Turtle Boy on?
No. Because I was told it wouldn't be a great idea a few weeks ago. So if I get the okay, yes. Well, if Turtle Boy wants to call me a pussy,
not true.
Yes, I'm an employer. What's not true?
He said he heard from Steve the real reason why you wouldn't have him on.
What's the real reason?
I think it's a good idea.
I don't know.
No,
I mean, he's a pussy.
You know what, Justin? Ask Steve right now. If Steve responds, then I'll fucking have him on, I guess. But no, I'm not going to do it without permission. I don't know what Turtle Boy's secret reason is.
I think it would be worth it.
It is sad that this media titan is in the comments just begging to come on this show, which he has said is so terrible.
I know. Well, I'm slandering his name, I guess, his good name. Well, that's the other thing too. With like, I don't know how to take those. But maybe that's another reason for my lack of interaction, because I get very confused with who I can be cool with and who I can't be. Like, I went on with those Mincel Intel guys, and they're always very nice to me. Like when I'm on there, or they're on here, or I've DM'd with them. They're always very nice, particularly BA and John. But then they're playing voicemails of a guy who's threatening to kill Carano, and BA is saying I should lose my job. So I don't know. It's tough to tell with those guys. Like I would have had BA on here to read the comments, but then I'm like, does he fucking hate me? Why am I giggling with this guy?
Steve said, "Bring on the turtle."
All right, bring on the turtle, I guess.
Turtle Boy, if you're watching this, I'm going to be DMing you the link on Twitter.
All right, this will be exciting. Should I leave? Should I? I guess this should just be me and Turtle Boy, probably. Well, unless you guys want to stay on to talk to him.
I don't mind.
All right,
I don't mind.
Because it seems like you guys had issues with him as well. So.
In the meantime, I'm a shameless plug for the walk that I'm trying to get organized for the suicide prevention.
Yeah,
it's the American Suicide Prevention Foundation. The walk is in Nashua on the September 26th. Right now, we've raised over about $5,800, and we have about 34 people registered. So if anyone wants to, I have it pinned to my Twitter. So just check in there.
Awesome. At Blind Prison Mike, go check him out.
Good work.
Oh, now I have to argue with Turtle Boy over something I don't know. Steve told him the real reason. I'm very curious.
Grab some straws.
Why is that?
Because they kill turtles. Man, I'm full of today. You know, they got jammed in there.
Was that off the top, Justin?
Have you been waiting to say that for a while?
I've been waiting to say that for like 30 minutes now. I was going to say I should change his name to Strawman.
Yes. Did you send him the link?
I did. I sent it to the Aiden Kearney, a.k.a. Uncle Turtle Boy account.
Very good.
Coming from intern Justin, Turtle Boy. So,
all right, let's go, Turtle Boy. Come on in. I don't know. How do we think this is going to go, guys? What do you think he has some information to expose me?
No,
Maybe he does.
He's probably going to shout a lot and then plug his shows and then move on.
Yeah, he's gonna yell a lot. That's what I was gonna say.
I do ask. He's backstage now. I do ask. Just please don't say any. You can
Slurs.
say anything,
Just
but I just ask. Not to say any derogatory slurs.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it. It'll just get us kicked off YouTube and all that shit. He might say that's not true.
I thought you were asking for the quote, so I apologize.
No, it's all good.
He said it, not you.
Here is Turtle Boy now.
Hello, sir.
Hello, what's up?
So I'm confused. What did I get wrong?
Okay, first of all, you guys treated Kirk Minahan like he was a porcelain doll. Okay, and that's what you guys aren't telling people.
No, Turtle Boy, I want to know what I lied to you about first.
Well, first of all, the reason I couldn't come on in the first place, you invited me on. I didn't reach out to you. You reached out to me.
I said that.
Okay? You've done it multiple times in the past. So you're acting like, oh, Turtle Boy's irrelevant. Then why are you reaching out to me to have me on?
Turtle Boy, I said I reached out to you. So
right,
what am I lying about?
You heard Turtle Boy for. Let's be very clear here, okay? My world and your world, they intersect a little bit, but they're very different. Okay, I don't need Kirk and Jerry. It's nice.
Boy, you're not answering my question. I never said you were irrelevant. You're a talented guy. I said that before. I don't think you made Kirk and Callahan, but I think you're a talented guy. What did I lie about?
Mustache Mike over here lied about that. I never once said that I made Kirk and Callahan.
What did I lie about, Turtle Boy? What did I lie to you about?
What did you lie to me? Okay, so first of all, you guys lied about the reason that you didn't want to have me on. Why didn't you want to have me on? What changed? What changed that?
Steve told me not to.
Why did Steve tell you not to?
That's all I really know. It would cause a stir. That's all I know.
And you guys said that Kirk said that, correct?
I didn't say anything about that.
That's what Steve told me, is that Kirk said that.
Steve told you that I said Kirk said that?
And he made it very clear to me that he never once gave that directive. And he never was being treated like
Turtle Boy.
That cannot be criticized. It's absurd.
When did I say that Kirk said that?
You made that. I mean, so Steve said that.
When did I say, asshole? When did I say that Kirk said that? You said that I lied. When did I lie to you about that?
About you. First of all, you're being very evasive in your reasoning why on here. I'm like,
when did I say that Kirk said that, Turtle Boy?
Hey, sorry, man. Sorry to do this to you, but after talking with Steve, I think you might have to take the show in a slightly different direction.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. And so basically, meaning...
What am I lying about, Turtle Boy?
For me to get worked over. You were being extremely shady about it, Mike.
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly
I didn't hear the name Kirk.
I was being shady about it because I was told it was a big fucking deal. It was a rough time in the show. Something bigger than Turtle Boy was going on. And I didn't feel that you needed to know because you're not part of the show.
Mike,
so I didn't feel like confessing to you everything that was going on behind the scenes. I did not lie to you about that.
Okay, Mike, first of all, you guys do a show where you guys take shots at people all the fucking time.
Okay.
Do you know, is Ellie Schnitt suicidal?
I don't know.
Oh, says your articles. What do you think your articles are? You're garbage.
Turtle Boy.
You're garbage articles.
Shut the fuck up.
You sound like a
take
toddler.
shots at
You're a little
Kirk all
toddler.
day. It's not on my
crying
show.
because someone will let you on a show. You're a little baby. You're acting like a spoiled little brat.
I'm talking
throwing
to
a
Mike.
temper tantrum in the corner.
Who the fuck are you? You're an internet.
I am who I am.
Let him talk for a second.
You know what you called me.
Turtle Boy, let me say this, though. Ellie Schnitt can respond to Kirk whenever she wants on her podcast, just like you can respond on your podcast.
Missing the point.
But at that time, I wasn't going to have you on.
Missing the point entirely.
How?
You guys do a show where the entire premise of your show, one of the premises is that you guys take shots at people, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, but yet I was told we can't take shots at Kirk.
I did not tell you that. When did I tell you that?
Kirk, Steve said that. Steve literally said.
Then Turtle Boy, I guess your problems with Steve. I don't know if Steve said that or not. Your problems with Steve, I did not tell you that.
Well, no, you obviously know this. You obviously talked to Steve. The reason you guys did not want to have me on is because you were worried that any criticism of Kirk would push him over the edge.
I don't know. I was told not to do it, and that's why I did. I was told to lay low and stay off social media and all that shit, and I felt like that went in the same line of thinking.
I mean,
is that crazy?
That whole conversation that Jerry and I had, right, on that was eliminated. That was gone within right after the show ended. That was only on Facebook Live. That's not even on the podcast. Okay, how did Kirk hear that?
I don't know. Maybe he heard it live.
Anybody who subscribes gets it downloaded.
Do you think?
Oh yeah, maybe you downloaded it right away.
Anybody who subscribes gets it downloaded, or if you started streaming,
it was never uploaded. It was never
how did DEC
really?
find it?
We all heard it.
Because
How
I
did
heard
DEC
it.
find it?
Maybe talk to your producer because Dave Cullinane says otherwise. That's not how it works, Turtle Boy.
No, it was on. How it works is it's on Facebook Live, and then Cullinan uploads the audio afterwards. That entire thing was never uploaded. That part was never on iTunes.
So DEC got it this week and played it on his show. Where did he get it?
Facebook. Somebody recorded it on Facebook, obviously.
No, I got it on RSS.
No one watches it. Who would record it?
Somebody
would record it and give it to DEC 3 weeks later?
I don't know. But it was never asked. According to Cullinan, he never put it.
Lying, boy, are you lying?
According to Cullinan, that's what he said.
Oh, you're gonna throw Cullinane under the bus?
Ask him. This is what he told me. It was never up.
Don't you realize that's the same argument Mike just had with Steve?
So basically, your issue with me is non-existent. I did not lie to you about it.
You was a couple things you said right there. First of all, about like who's Turtle Boy? Like, what are you talking? Like I need Kirk and Jerry. It's nice of them if they want.
You don't think they helped your fucking career? Are you out of your mind?
I don't think that at all. I think it's.
Are you out of your mind?
Well, you. Listen,
that's
Mike,
what he said.
Yes, yes. I said, are you out of your fucking mind?
No, like, you're living in the Twitter world. I'm a Facebook guy. We had 112,000.
Oh my god!
Sell some gold.
Excuse me.
I
didn't realize I was dealing with
Are we
Facebook.
back or the troll's gonna fucking chime in?
Oh my god, that was
We're
funny.
talking about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, guys, let me talk first.
Go ahead.
We're gonna talk. No, okay. So first of all, I get over 3 million monthly page views. Okay, on the blog, over 3 million. I don't need fucking Kirk and Jerry to give me that. Are you kidding me? Why do they come to me? Why did they come to me with the Murchison story? Why?
You don't think that because Turtle Boy, you did a good job with that because you're a guy who would talk about it.
Why did they
you're a guy who would talk. Turtle Boy, I don't think you don't have an audience, but to think the #1 show in a major market mentioning you doesn't help your career, you're out of your fucking mind.
It doesn't hurt my career. I certainly don't need it. Are you kidding me?
It helps you though. No?
Does it? I don't really need. How does it help me?
You literally just said it doesn't.
Because I know who you are, and I don't mean me specifically. I mean people that listen to that show know who you are now.
So a lot of my followers, they've never heard of Jerry Callahan before I went on that podcast.
Then you're helping Jerry's career. That's great.
Okay, a lot of them
also helped your career.
A lot of them had never heard of Kirk Moynihan before.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh no, everybody knows fucking Kirk Moynihan, right?
What are they in assisted living homes? Is that why they didn't get EEI in assisted living homes? You boomer audience. I'm sure they've heard of Kirk
boomer
Moynihan.
audience. Why
Yeah,
do you know
go
about my
sell
audience?
some gold.
You said you're on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Yeah, you ever heard of it?
Yes,
Yeah, my dad has
that it
Oh,
skews older.
It's only 2.6 billion world users. Yeah, what are you talking about?
I mean, Turtle Boy, if I said TikTok, would you not assume it was a younger audience? Like, what do you mean?
The average the biggest demographic in our audience is 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. Those
Okay, I don't know why you're on here. I never said you're not successful and not talented.
Right, you said
I lied, so I let you on. You've yet to tell me. You've yet to tell me one lie I've told.
Well, you guys were dishonest about the reason you didn't want me.
Same as a lie, but continue.
No, the reason you did not want me on the show, according to Steve, is that I would say something that would push Kirk over the edge.
Turtle Boy, I don't know if that's true or not, but is that fucking crazy when a guy is legitimately suicide? Is that nuts?
Enough with this shit. Okay, I'm sorry. Look at you guys cannot do. You realize the conundrum here,
Enough
right?
with this shit. He's talking about someone with a mental health issue.
Can we shut up, porn stash. Who's
what do you think? What do you think? Kirk went on freaking vacation?
Who the fuck are you, dude?
Where do you think he went?
You're fucking nobody.
Where do you think he went? And you're talking to me, so you're equivalent, I guess.
Stop running your
Where do you think Kirk went? You can't do shit to him. Are you kidding me? Anything you said, you're dirt on you're crap on the bottom of his shoe. Okay, you couldn't say shit to affect him. But the fact that you would want to is disgusting in and of itself.
I don't want to do that. What the fuck?
And I'm calling her up. It's disgusting.
Okay. Oh, you're disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm so disgusting. God forbid anybody.
Why are you so?
It's a good point, Turtle Boy.
Why are you so mad about being uninvited? Why are you so mad about being uninvited to this show? Like, why is
No,
Why is that
I
such
don't
a
like
big
the
deal to you?
lies. I don't like the fucking lies.
But
that
you
are
haven't
being
named
told.
You
one
have not
lie.
named
one.
a single lie, Turtle Boy.
The reason that I was not that I was, you guys disinvited me is because you were afraid I was going to say something.
I just
Let's
addressed
hear
it.
the quote. Where's the
I
quote?
just addressed
Give
it
the
to you.
quote.
I don't know if that's true, but I don't find it to be that fucking crazy in that situation.
Okay, so you guys do a show where you constantly talk shit about, but how can you do a show where you constantly
Turtle Boy, did anyone ever come to us and say, "Hey, Ellie Schnitt is on the brink of suicide and in a mental institute," and we kept talking about her?
Oh, yeah, what mental?
You
He went
fucking
to a mental
idiot!
institution, did he? He went to a mental institute and he was sitting on his phone watching a Facebook live show.
I don't know where he was exactly.
No, you don't know fucking shit. What are you talking about?
Turtle Boy, do you let every person you go after on your blog come on your show and
Yes.
have their time? You let every single
It's
person?
called Ratchet Redemption. We do it every Saturday night.
So every single person you've ever criticized has had the opportunity to come on your show.
Every single person.
I find that hard to believe.
Read
Turtle
any
Boy.
blog. I always write at the end. I'd love to have you on the live show. Every
Do you
single
have a
time.
blog? Do you have a blog?
Plug your
We're gonna
show.
call Ratchet tonight, believe me.
Go ahead and this
I
is
don't
exactly
need
how I
to
was said.
fucking
You're
blog.
gonna
I'm
come on and
fine.
yell, and you're gonna
Fucking
plug your
blog this
show.
for 65
All right,
people
hold
who
on.
don't know.
Let me try and get something done here. Is there
You
anything
haven't
else?
let me make my big
Anything
point,
else
man,
that-
and that's what I keep getting
Turtle Boy.
interrupted by. You guys do a show. Do you realize the hypocrisy here where you guys do a show where you constantly take shots at people
I got it.
constantly
Yeah.
and that but yet Kirk is off limits because he has mental health problems? Do you understand the problem with that?
Kirk is not off limits, Turtle
Who-
Boy. Do it on your
He
show all
clearly is.
fucking day.
You
Do it on
told
your
me he
show
was
all
off limits.
day, Turtle
You
Boy.
told me that.
I'm not going to do it here when I'm told to fucking lay low. That's just
Why were you told to lay low? Because Steve made it very clear that I could push, that he thought I would push Kirk over the edge if I said something
Then
critical.
Turtle Boy, go do it on your show. You have this gigantic platform where you could have done it. Why do you give a fuck about this
You're
show?
in a position where you guys admit that you guys take shots at people, but no one can take shots at you.
Oh my God.
Who
We've heard
took
you
a
say
shot
that.
at you? Who took
Yes.
a shot at you? It sounds
I've always
to me
said
like
no
he
one
just
no
didn't
one
allow
takes
you.
shots at me.
People
That's
take
my
shots
that's
at
my
me every
standard.
fucking day. What are you talking about?
Who-
You
but
guys,
you're saying why is Kirk taking shots at people and you can't take shots at? What is this attack from? Is this attack from Mike telling you can't come on the show because he doesn't want you on it? Like,
no,
how
my
is that a
problem
shot?
here is the ultimate hypocrisy of running a show, the Kirk Manahan show, where you guys constantly shit on people, which is fine. I'm all down for that. I enjoy that aspect of it. You guys calling out hypocrites and Ellie Schnitt's world. That's great. I love that shit. That's good content. Okay. My problem is that no one else can take shots at you, or else because Kirk has mental health problems. Do you understand the hypocrisy?
Whoever said that?
Okay, hold on,
Steve
guys.
said that.
Dave
Steve
and
Robinson.
Mike, hold on one second. Turtle Boy, you and me for a second.
Yes. That's
What
I like.
if I didn't invite you on? Would you have a problem with that?
If you didn't invite me on?
Yeah, if I just never invited you on, would
No,
that
I
be an
wouldn't
issue?
have a problem with that. My problem
Okay,
is
so then the issue you have is that I invited you on and then talked to people higher up than me and said, you know what? I probably shouldn't have done that. That's
Yeah,
your big issue.
you disinvited me after I made critical comments about Kirk.
No, I did not.
Yeah,
That's
you did.
what, Turtle Boy, I invited you on because you made critical comments of Kirk. That's why I invited you on in the first place.
Yeah, you invited me on because of the Monica Cannon Grant stuff. That's what you said in your messages here.
You calling out me and Steve for not talking about Charlie Coyle and Monica Cannon Grant.
No,
That's
what
what I
I
was
was
referring
saying
to.
was you guys could run the show and talk about this stuff. You could.
Right, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I didn't want to get into the topic with you. I meant you
Right.
saying that we should have been talking about that.
Yeah, I think you guys should have done a show while he was on hiatus. I think you should have.
Right,
That's my
and that's
opinion.
what I wanted. I wanted to talk to you about
Yeah.
you going off on Twitter about that shit.
Yeah,
and then I
that
said,
was a compliment. That was like
Huh?
me saying that you guys can handle
I
it
appreciate it very much,
for a few
but
weeks, whatever.
if I hadn't what's the difference? If I had decided I didn't want you on, what's the big fucking deal?
Well, the big deal is the fact that I was disinvited specifically because I made comments that were critical of Kirk.
Turtle Boy, that's why you were invited on, you
That's
asshole.
not.
I'm telling. That is why I.
Steve, there's a miscommunication here. Ask Steve. This is what he told me on the phone. I had a conversation with him. He specifically told me that.
He
That's what
specifically
he said. Ask him.
So they have to have you on to talk shit about Kirk.
When did you become the programming director of this show?
I'm not. I was just the guy that was invited on, and then told the reason why I couldn't come on was because I might put Kirk over the edge. That's literally what Steve said.
I don't know
What's the quote? What's the quote? No.
Hold on. I don't know
Well,
what Steve
there's
did
a
or didn't
conversation we
say.
had on the phone.
Turtle Boy, hold on. I don't know what Steve did or did not say to you. What I'm telling you is my thought process. I saw you shitting on the show, whatever it's the Minifans or me and Steve or whatever, and I invited you on for that. Then after talking to Steve, I did disinvite you. But that's not a lie. It's not because you took shots at Kirk or anything. It's because of what was going on at that time that I said this might not be the best idea to do.
Why? Why wouldn't it be the best idea? Why wouldn't it be the best idea?
Talk about taking shots. Well, the idea is, and you talk about someone filling in for Tucker Carlson. That wouldn't be me. The guy who fills in for Kirk to take on Turtle Boy would not be me, and that's why.
Why wouldn't it? But why wouldn't it be a good idea?
I don't know, because at my
interesting. What don't you know? What are you hiding, Mike?
Your ego is so big.
My ego is not big.
Your ego is so big that you think this is all about you. You think that your ego is so big, you think this is all about you. But earlier in the show, Mike said he was asked to lay low on all YouTube content. It wasn't, don't have Turtle Boy on because he's so dangerous. Like, it was a general more to.
You guys started the show off today by talking about me, so of course I'm going to respond.
You did make a kind of a bad comment. Not gonna lie.
Who cares? Oh, you're whining about words? I mean, this
I'm
That wasn't my issue. Was more.
It's like it's not a politically correct word. Oh no, we used a bad fucking word on Twitter. Oh my God, I'm gonna click my pearls now. Oh my God, he said a fucking word that Spicoli says in a fuck. Like, are you kidding me?
The Kirk and Cal.
More.
I'm just saying.
Much more outrageous. All right, Turtle Boy. It doesn't seem like when I saw this, you think I'm a liar.
Bottom line is, you guys do a show where you take shots at people, but your own people are protected and they can't get
let the shots come in. It's crazy.
Good shit.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you're such an asshole.
Ladies and gentlemen, the king of Facebook has left the show.
So is it over now? Because he's still like I put him backstage. So are we good?
No, it's I mean, we just keep going in circles with him. You know, I get why he's angry, but I did not lie to him. Certainly, I don't know. Maybe I lied about what Steve said. Who knows? We'll find out on Monday, I guess. What did you guys think of that?
I don't get why he's angry. He's angry because you didn't let him on to talk shit about the person who owns the show. That's why he's angry. It makes no sense.
Not even that. Not even because Kirk wouldn't, I don't think, give a shit about that.
He can't seem to grasp that the reason you wanted to have him on was because he said you should be doing shows about these political issues. He thinks you literally wanted to talk about the political issues.
Yeah. Hey, Turtle, I see you're interested in this Charlie Coyle story.
Yeah.
With you.
Because
I had him on because he was taking shots, and then the more it was talked out, we decided probably not the best route to go down. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, he could not seem to grasp that.
Justin, what do the other commenters think about that? Did I come out the victor on this one, or did Turtle Boy slander my good name?
I don't know. They keep saying they want me to bring Steve in now, and I'm trying to tell them that Steve isn't here.
Steve, I assume, will address all this on Monday, I would think.
People are saying get Kirk on. Well, I don't think Kirk's on Mike and the Minifans right now.
Yes, there's going to be a show on Monday. I don't think anyone... Turtle Boy has already been reduced to Mike and the Minifans. We don't need to ruin anyone else's reputation.
He's been reduced to begging to come on to Mike.
But that's... I mean, he gets worked up about that, and I would tell him...
Here he is.
Who's that?
Here he is.
Oh.
Holy cow. What
liar.
a raging cunt.
Well, yes. if it isn't old liar Robinson.
Somebody let the blind guy know that I'm here.
What?
Yeah.
What do you want? Hello, we're talking to you, Steve.
Hold on a second. I got to figure my sound out here.
Oh boy.
Best in the biz.
Can you guys hear me now? Sorry,
I could hear you the whole time. What's up?
Okay. No, I did have a call. I did have a call with him. I told. Sorry. I'll say it. I was watching and getting feedback. Yeah, I told him that it wasn't the best idea to have the guy on who's shitting on the host of the show while he's on mental health leave, and also happens to be co-host of a show that's actively trying to get all the Minifans to go listen to his podcast while Kirk's away. And it was like a kind of an interesting tweet from Jerry to say, "Oh, hey, look at all the Minifans. Well, you don't have a show to listen to. Come and listen to my show." Kind of trying to capitalize on Kirk's time away. So yeah, I did say it. I don't understand why Turtle Boy is that worked up about it. I don't understand what his grievance is.
Where are the lies? Because he was going to expose your big lie, and I couldn't figure out.
There has been no lie. I mean, I'm honest. Like you told me that you were having him on. I said it's not the best time, and I called him up and I was like, "Hey, I know like you've got a business to run. You want to do your thing. You've got you don't take well to being censored, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever." And like I love Turtle Boy, and I think Kirk has been good to Turtle Boy. I think everybody's been good to Turtle Boy in this world. And I just asked him to maybe just like not go on Mike and the Minifans and shit all over the Kirk Minahan show and say, you know, we should be doing a show on the RSS feed, because that was clearly not Kirk's desire. And it's the Kirk Minahan show. It's not the Steve Robinson show. It's not the Mike Geary show. It's not the, you know, talk about Turtle Boy's stories show. And so I thought we were being respectful of Kirk's wishes, and I just told Turtle Boy that. I really don't understand why he's so worked up about it. It seems like he's been on a 2-week-long jihad against us because he thinks that we're keeping him down. I really don't even understand it in dollar terms. Like, is it going to drive more people to TB Daily News or whatever his website is if he talks about this? I just don't get it.
No, the strange thing is that he won't acknowledge is, as a businessman and a guy who runs a blog, he realizes that Kirk talking about him on the show or whatever traction he gets out of this is good for Turtle Boy, because people are saying his name over and over again on a big show like the Kirk Minahan show. So if Kirk's talking about him Monday, that's good for his brand. Yet he won't acknowledge that the Kirk and Callahan show was good for him. It's very strange.
And, you know, I see Turtle Boy in the comments, and we can bring him back on if we want. Like, I'm happy to have the conversation with him. I thought we reached an understanding after our phone call, but apparently not. And it might not have been Kirk's wish to keep him off Mike and the Minifans. And that could be the case, and that's fine. And like, I can take that up with Kirk on Monday, or we can have a phone call tomorrow. But it was in the heat of a moment during a very difficult time professionally and personally. I thought maybe the best decision was not to have somebody going on Kirk's YouTube channel and shitting all over him in the show. And arguing for something that was not in his interest. So I mean, it could, like, there's a whole argument about like content, cancel culture. Like, we want to, be the show that's open and talking about everything. But I thought that maybe we just don't do that for one fucking night. And I thought that Turtle Boy understood that what I was saying. Like, you go Mike and Minifans anytime you want, and you can, encourage people to go to your website. But I said, hey, maybe just one fucking night we just pump the brakes a little bit, because this is a difficult situation for all of us. And I guess Aiden didn't understand that.
Well, he seems to think he's the program director of this show. So I don't know.
He should be. He would do a better job than me, but that's neither here nor there.
Did you say anything about pushing him over the edge? I feel like he made that up. Like, did you say he might push Kirk over the edge?
I don't know if I said push him over the edge, but I said just don't set him off. Like,
timing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a hard situation, and I know, like, personally, if I was going through that situation and I have this YouTube channel and this community that I built up, and while I'm away trying to get healthy, some other podcaster with his own show and his own motives kind of slips in there and wants to shit all over this show and say, oh, you guys aren't edgy enough, blah, blah, blah. Like, come listen to my shit. It just didn't seem like it was right in that moment. And if it was not the right decision, that's fine. But, I don't regret it. I called up Turtle Boy and I was like, hey, could you just not be a dick for a little bit? And he was like, yeah, okay, I'll not be a dick for a little bit. And then 2 seconds later or a week later, he's decided to come out and be a dick. And I mean, I like Turtle Boy. He's a
I don't know why he's doing this.
He's a great reporter, and we'll talk about his stuff in the future. But I don't understand why he's doing this. If it's for the attention, then good.
Do we want to have him back on, or I feel like he's just going to keep saying the same shit?
Yeah, no, it's fine. Like, I don't think that we don't disagree about anything. Like I think he's really telling he's truth from what I've seen. I stepped in a little bit late in this, but I think he is accurately relating the what we talked about on the phone.
Completely, but he's framing it as if we're lying about something, which I don't understand.
I don't know what we would be lying about. Was I trying to protect Kirk? Yeah, sure, okay, that's fine. Like, was I doing something that maybe Kirk wouldn't have liked? Sure, maybe. But in that moment, it was a very unusual, uncertain moment, and I just didn't want to do anything that would make the situation worse.
Justin, if Turtle Boy wants to come back in, I guess we'll do this again with Steve, so Steve can defend himself. And these two guys can pop out, I guess, if Turtle Boy wants to come back in.
I kind of like looking at Blind Prison Mike. That's one fucking second.
If there's one thing I know, it's that Steve does not lie. So I'm with Steve 100%.
That's true. That's been proven over the course of the show. He's a truthful man.
Dave. I appreciate that.
But the thing is, I kept asking Turtle Boy, and there's nothing that there would be a reason to lie about. Like, I feel like, unless I misquoted you, Steve, that's why I texted you yesterday, because I was afraid of getting something you said wrong, but I feel like I pretty accurately said everything that you told me over the last month.
It's a difficult situation for the two of us to be in. You were doing Mike and the Minifans. You said you had Turtle Boy on. Turtle Boy was talking all kinds of shit on Twitter. And also his podcast co-host, Jerry Callahan, was trying to basically co-opt the Minifan audience at the same time. I thought that was something that Kirk would not appreciate. So I was being the only person who could step in and say, hey, maybe this like intellectual property that Kirk has, the Kirk Minahan Network, this YouTube channel, should not be co-opted for another podcast. I'd hate to say like a competitor, but like maybe that shouldn't happen while he's away, because I didn't think he would appreciate that. So that's what I tried to do. So, if it was the wrong decision, then, fuck me, but I would have done it again.
There's also a little bit of Turtle Boy clearly like trying to go after the show while Kirk is gone, where like,
and that's the thing. That's the thing.
He can wait to air his grievances when Kirk is back.
Yeah, I also didn't appreciate that. It kind of felt like it was like walking right up to the line of taking shots at Kirk or the brand or the show, when it's like clearly a difficult moment and we're not thinking about, the Bruins. I think what it all really boils down to is I think that Aiden was upset that we weren't talking about the Bruins story, which was a great story and it was good reporting. Like I've had nothing but compliments for Turtle Boy, and I think Kirk's been really good to him too. So I don't quite understand it.
Well, that's what I said to him. I mean, he
looks like he's in the waiting room.
All right, bring him in. Boys, we'll see you later. Visionless Dave and Blind Prison Mike. Thank you, fellas.
Is anything that I've said wrong, Turtle Boy?
I don't think so.
I was asking Turtle Boy.
Okay, so I don't remember everything you said off the top of my head right now, but I just when we spoke on the phone, you made it very clear that like you did not want me on because you were worried that if I said something wrong or critical of Kirk, it would push him over the edge, and that would be the end, right?
I don't know if I said that it was going to be the end or push him over the edge, but it was clear that, I thought that it would be bad. It would be bad for Kirk's health to see another podcaster coming on his YouTube channel to shit on his show and his brand. Yeah,
you thought it was like the person Kirk, like you were like as a friend, like you said that, like as a friend.
Yes.
I'm more like
what's wrong with that term?
I was worried about him, and I asked you just not to like go on his YouTube channel and be a dick about it.
And I respect that, and I believe it, and I respected that.
Well, clearly you don't.
No, you didn't.
Clearly you don't. Like not whatsoever.
Have I said anything for the last?
Because you're right now. You are. You've been jumping up and down, waving your hands around, trying to get attention.
And why am I saying? So my big thing with you guys is
how have you been wronged in this situation? I just don't understand it, man.
Well, you guys do a show where you constantly take shots at people.
We got it. We heard you.
Yeah. Do you understand the hypocrisy of that? Like you're just gonna. This was 2 weeks ago, and you're just gonna go back. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, how can you ever take shots at someone ever again?
We had this conversation on the phone, and I told you, like, I understand that there's hypocrisy here. There's hypocrites everywhere. Like, I get it. Like, congratulations.
Right. And you also didn't tell Kirk that.
So, I mean, do you win a prize or something?
No. My big thing with that was like because Kirk called me yesterday and I talked to him about this. First of all, there's a lot of misconceptions that Kirk and I are buddies. Like we have a great relationship. We have no animosity towards. I respect the hell out of Kirk Minahan. Are you kidding me?
What? Who has that misconception?
A lot of these people seem to think that I don't like Kirk.
Who are these people? I never said that. Steve never said that.
No, I mean, obviously you would like Kirk. Like Kirk's been really good to you. Like,
and vice versa. I also don't like that whole like patriarchal relationship. Like, oh well, he's been good to you. It's like, well, I've been good to him too. Let's be honest about that.
Yes, you have, but I don't understand. I don't understand.
Guys, he doesn't. Basically, they were saying like, oh, they made you. Jerry and Kirk made you.
I've never said that. I've never said that.
To say they didn't help your career is outrageous.
You said that tonight that they made me, Mike. Go back and play the tape.
Okay, Turtle. Maybe I exaggerated. I'm sure you had a great listenership. They helped your career a lot.
They did not help my career a lot.
That's Turtle Boy. That's nuts to me. That's nuts to me that you think. Then why are you on Jerry's show now? Why don't you just do your own?
Because I do my own show. I have a show. I have a channel with twice the number of fucking.
But I'm saying, how does it possibly help you to do Jerry's show? Is that just charity?
It doesn't. It's literally just me fucking around and having a good time on.
Well, that's very sweet of you. That's very nice.
Yes, I just enjoy doing it.
Right, you're a
frankly,
sweet guy. I didn't
I'd
realize.
probably be talking about those things anyway. So it just gives me a chance to unload about politics and sports, which I don't really write about in my blog. So it's like my chance to talk about sports and politics. I don't get paid to go on there. It's just fun.
Well, congratulations. Is Steve gone?
I don't need.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
And that was my whole thing. Where you guys act like it's like I need them. I don't need. Like, I'll take it if they want to help me out. Sure, if they want to talk.
Turtle Boy, I'm sorry if I besmirched your. I did. I mean, maybe I said that. I did say that. But I also said you're a talented guy. You do good work in journalism. You're the only guy who will talk about certain shit that like the Globe and all this. We say that on the show all the time. I said it here. I don't know why you're so butthurt about this one fucking issue.
Well, my issue was that I feel like you guys are kind of being
hypocritical. We got it.
No, I'm not hypocritical, but like dishonest about it. Like, tell the real. Like,
I did. I told the real story.
Okay, but do you guys like going forward? How can you ever do a show where you take shots at people?
I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me to ever show my face in this town again.
There's Kirk.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be hard for me to do my show any way I want to do it. Like, why wouldn't I be able to do my show?
Who said you couldn't?
You just said that. How are you going to be able to do your show and do your thing and go after people? I'll go after people all the time.
Well, I know you do.
Why would I stop? Why would I individually stop? Why?
Because behind your back, these two guys.
Yeah,
right
but
here,
I don't. But why would I do anything different?
Well,
why?
So
I said, why would I do anything different? You said, well. So how would that lead? That's not an answer to my question.
It doesn't seem fair.
Answer the question. Answer the question. Come on.
What's
I'm not a 16-year-old junior. You're a high school. Let's have a real conversation about this, okay? And don't call me any homophobic slurs. I know Jerry Callahan, who's a transphobe and a homophobe of the highest order, will be totally comfortable with that. I mean, he is. He totally is. And that's fine. I mean, you want to call my listeners that. You want to do this. You want to make your faces. You want to talk about Facebook. Fine. I don't care what Steve did, Mike did. I'll talk about that Monday. I've been nothing but supportive to you. So here's what you should do. You should say, thank you, Kirk. We've had a good relationship. I've helped you. You've helped me. And just shut your fucking mouth and take a little promotion once in a while. Shut the fuck up and leave.
And leave what?
It. Go leave here. Go chase some dumpster stories and do whatever you do and go see who's roller skating. What 16-year-olds are roller skating around.
My issue is going forward. It's like these two guys right here. They specifically.
Again, I've been nothing but support. Nobody's been more. And whether you think I've helped you or not, I don't care. I heard you say that you've helped me more than I've helped you. You've been arguing with Minifans for the last 3 weeks while I've been gone. I have never had anybody, not one person, seriously, I'm not being an asshole here, not one person ever on Twitter, anywhere, ever mention you to me, ever. It's like you don't exist. I'm not even sure you exist. You might even just be a mirage in my mind, God knows. But what I'm saying is you should just probably say, hey, Kirk, you know what? You've been a big help to me. I probably shouldn't have shit on you. I probably shouldn't have said you were a welfare case or whatever you said. By the way, I heard that on the RSS feed. So Mr. Free Speech, Mr. Crazy Turtle Boy is going to be comfortable going on a podcast Monday with racist, homophobic, transphobic Jerry Callahan, Mr. Free Speech, on a show that censors your speech.
I don't agree.
I mean, that seems pretty hypocritical.
Stuttering, stupid, fucking moronic hypocrite.
Why did they censor that?
Why did
they censor it? Why did they censor it? Why did they censor it? To protect you.
Did I? Okay, but again, who did that? Did I do it? Did I ask for it?
Do you appreciate that?
No.
Like that? No. And that's my fucking point, Kirk.
Well,
is that
quit your show.
Quit that show then.
Quit that show, you phony. Quit that show. If you're missing, nobody's more free speech than you, right? So quit that show. You're going to go on there Monday with Jerry
and I fucking talk about politics for an hour.
Because it's hypocrite. You just called us hypocrites. They did the same thing.
Mike, I got it. Jerry, while you and Jerry do your Burden Dominique racist duel for an hour and a half, you have to understand that underneath it all, you are censored on that show. You call me a child? You're censored by Dave Cullinane and Jerry Callahan. You fucking fool.
It's not my show. It's their show. They can do it.
Okay. And it's
I got my own show. I do a Turtle Boy Live show isn't censored whatsoever. And it'll have a much bigger following than this show. I'll tell you that much right now.
Bigger following than my show?
Than this fucking YouTube show, certainly.
Oh, sure. Bigger than my podcast?
I don't know. How many downloads do you get?
We get about 100,000 an episode.
How come you guys never show that, by the way?
Well, how many does Jerry get?
I have no idea. Nobody ever shows.
Yeah. You know what's weird, though, is unfortunately, I don't have a brother-in-law that sells me $25 an ad for concrete spots, but I do the best I can.
Your issues with Jerry are your own. I'm not here.
Here's the thing. You know I like you. We had a conversation yesterday.
I know we did. We had a good conversation.
But here's the thing. It seemed to me And again, I was out of there for a couple of weeks. It seemed to me you were like, hey, Kirk's gone now. I'm going to jump in and be the guy who shits on him, which I have to say is, again, you, as I said to you yesterday, totally fine. Go for it. But it seems really weird when, whether you think I've helped you or not, and maybe I haven't helped you at all, that might be right. But I think I've been pretty fucking good to you, man. Like,
yeah, I wasn't shitting on you. There's no shitting on you. My point was,
you call me, and I know it was Scrub by Scrub and Callahan and
right.
Pussy Callahan.
Right.
Pussy Callahan, is he doing his DJing or is he scrubbing audio? What's he doing? He's so
your
fucking
issues
crazy.
Are your own, but all I know is like
him and his ugly fucking kids.
I stand by.
What I would say is like, you know, when you say I'm a welfare recipient, that's kind of an asshole.
You guys were a welfare show.
No. You said I was. You said.
No, I said you guys are a no, them too. They were getting paid to do nothing.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care about them. I'll deal with them Monday. I don't care if they're gone. I don't care about them at all. I only care about myself now. And I'm done. Like a month ago or 2 months ago, if this was on, I would have skipped it. But now I'm fighting every single war. So when you went in and said that, I was like, and I told you this yesterday, I'm like, oh, that's an asshole thing to say. Meanwhile, I think you have every right to say it. Your outrage should not be with Steve or Mike. Now, I understand you get way more buzz from our show than you do from Jerry's show, of course. And congratulations on the Facebook stuff. That's great. That's really, really good.
Yeah, you guys are on Twitter. It has fucking fifth of the world users, but go ahead.
Good comeback. There you go. Keep that up. That's the kind of win that's going to win the war.
Nobody uses Facebook. Yeah. Go ahead.
What's that?
Yeah, nobody uses Facebook. Yeah, nobody uses
boy. How many days to your 18 days to your 17? I don't think I'll be able to wait. But what I would say is, like, if I were you, I would say this guy's been good to me, man. He supported me, and I should just leave it alone. But you decided not to, and that's fine. So you do what you have to do.
I mean, you shit on me on your show.
Yeah, you suck on the air, right?
What? So you can take shots at people, but they can't take shots back?
Of course you can.
Apparently you can't. You can't
but since we have a good relationship, if you actually went away for something, I'd be like, I'm going to leave him alone for a couple weeks. I like the guy. And I'd say that as opposed to.
And I was not criticizing you, though. You took a perfectly harmless comment and turned it into criticism of you.
That's totally fine. But, like, you can't. Like, now we're just going to steal your stories. We're just going to report them on the air like they're ours.
That's fine. I don't give a shit. Everybody does that anyway.
Okay, we're going to be part of that crew now, too. Like,
that's fine. I really don't care.
We can't support you. And if you want to go on with the guy, Jerry Callahan, who has said so many homophobic and transphobic things off the air, I'm going to list them all Monday. I texted Dave and Jerry earlier. I was like, the war is like, my goal now is to ruin Jerry's show. Oh, sorry, I have a little throat issue.
But you understand the hypocrisy of that, though, right?
No.
Like, you're going to go out, like, these guys above you, they specifically asked me not to protect you.
Yeah, but I didn't do that. The
right, but they did. Are you going to confront them about that? About why are you treating me like
on my show with them Monday? I'll do it on my show with them.
Okay, so but they're treating you like behind your back. They're
right, and they're going to take a beating for that.
Okay,
but also I think you know me well enough to know I'm going to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
I mean, I would assume so. I would hope so.
Yeah, so we're fine.
I'm glad we had a conversation because
what's
you
that?
would not have known that if I didn't tell you that.
Wouldn't have known what?
That I was specifically asked not to mention your name because it might push you over the edge.
Well, I think that's why Steve did it. I think we all know why Jerry did it. Jerry's afraid of the blowback that he was going to get on social media, which is going to be now 50 times worse. Maybe. I mean, your issues with Jerry are your own. Yeah. No, I'll probably take the bus to Lexington or something to do that. But yeah, but it'll be fine. But like I said, we get along fine, and we'll fight. And like I said yesterday, we fight, we scream at each other. But you're a good reporter, and here's the thing. Like at the core, though, like I think I've been pretty. And whether you think I've been good for your career or not, I think I've been pretty supportive. No, you appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate like the merchant stuff. The merchant stuff. I always told you, I totally appreciate you for that. 1,000%. You know that. Yeah. But my issue is not with you. It's with the Minifans who are out there running. Maybe I shouldn't pay attention to them, but I do. I just can't help myself. I love the fight. I have to battle with everybody. It's just a thing. I don't know why. Maybe I should see somebody about that. I don't know. I can't help it. So these people coming at me and they're saying literally that, oh, well, you're nothing without Kirk and Jerry. I mean, Mike said earlier in the show, like, you're nothing without Kirk and Jerry. Well, I don't agree with that. I do think that when we promoted you a lot on the show that was doing huge ratings, that it would have helped bring people to your website. That seems like pretty basic math to me. I mean, that seems like, but what? You have like a lot of people, my readers, it's a completely different world. They've never heard of Kirk Minahan before. I agree. I don't disagree with that. Mutually beneficial, no? Right. Yes. Right. Yes. We agree. Right. So we agree. So Minifans are wrong. That's all. No, I didn't say that. Well, here's the thing. Like you talk about these turtle riders, like I said, I've never heard from one. So I don't even know. I think you might be making. Yeah, you're on a different platform. You're a Twitter guy.
I'm a Facebook guy.
I think you might just be making all these guys up. I think you might have 50,000 of these accounts. You might be crazier than
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Be crazier than me.
But, I mean, I had 112,000 followers on Facebook before the page was taken down. I have 4 pages now with over 100,000 followers.
And by the way, when your stuff gets taken down, who's the first guy to say that's bullshit? Me. It's total bullshit.
You guys have talked about me being censored on social media.
Yeah, of course, being deplatformed all the time. We absolutely have.
All right. I'll take your word for that. I don't remember that one.
We talked about it when I had you on Howie's show all the time. We talked about it.
Yeah, on Howie's show they talked about it. I know that.
I mean, Turtle wanted to be on the show, and he begged to be on, and we didn't think he was good enough. So now he's on the minor league podcast. That's totally fine.
First of all, you invited me on. I didn't.
You're getting your swings there, and that's good, man.
You
that's
called
good.
me and asked me to write a story about Alex Reamer getting censored, and then you said, "Oh, we got a new show. You should come on sometime. You should come on sometime." So I followed up on that twice. I said, "Oh yeah,
30 times for you."
Yeah, I mean that's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no problem with that.
So you're acting like I kind of like begged you to come on, like you.
Well, you were. There was some begging.
And I followed up on.
There was some begging. And then the other thing was Jerry saying that, and that's a Jerry issue, but he won't address on the show because he's afraid to talk about me now because he's the biggest pussy who ever lived. Is that the thing that he said about Steve? Oh, Steve should have stayed. Kirk's crazy. That shit drives me nuts. I told you that. That's not your issue. That's Jerry's issue. Jerry's a backstabbing fucking asshole.
I like Jerry. I mean,
I hate him. I hate him.
Well, first of all, come on. You like Jerry.
I hate him.
You like Jerry. I know.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Carmen's a bitch, and things will.
You guys are friends. If you die, you come to your funeral, and vice versa. You go to his.
No. Well, if it's soon, I will. Happily, I'll go. Yes. Hopefully, it'll be soon. All
you
right,
guys
hang in there.
All right. Well, that was fun. Good to be back with the boys again.
Huh? Okay.
I feel added a lot to that segment. Turtle Boy, you see my talent now, what I bring to the table. Now you get it.
Okay.
Are you all right now?
I feel like we've settled everything.
The thing is, we don't disagree about anything that happened. It's whether or not it was appropriate for me to ask you not to be a dick on Mike and the Minifans.
That's my opinion,
that's like the one thing. And maybe Kirk disagreed with it. And I think I told you when we were talking, I was like, Kirk probably this probably isn't what he would like to happen. But I just think like in this moment right now where there's so much uncertainty and we don't know what's going on, we don't know where Kirk is. Just like don't be a dick.
I just don't think you can continue to do a show like that moving. At least like you understand the.
I know. But you understand that it's the Kirk Minahan show. It's not the Steve Robinson show.
Right, but Kirk can't ever be off limits ever. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine because and I told you Kirk wouldn't have made that decision because Kirk is Kirk. Like I was stepping in and making that decision when no one else could. Yeah. And maybe and Kirk could be pissed off at me and just fucking fire me on Monday because he disagrees with my decision to ask you not to go on his YouTube channel and be a dick. And that's fine. I'm comfortable. I will live peacefully if that's what happened because I was trying to do something that I thought was healthier for him. That's all. I'm sorry that this had to turn into a fucking World War II.
It's been on my mind ever since we had that conversation because it's like
I know, and I don't get it.
Well, my thing is, and then you guys kind of came back and just like picked up. Oh, we're just back. We're gonna go back to shitting on people, and nobody knew that like Kirk is. He doesn't get to get criticized, and that's kind of fucked up.
Okay.
You could go on Twitter. I never told you not to tweet anything. You could go do whatever you want to do. You could go on the Jerry Show. You went on and called him a welfare recipient.
Well, and then after that,
you were openly critical of him.
We had a conversation after that.
I specifically said, just don't go on Mike and the Minifans. Just don't be a dick for just a little while. Like, hold off. You can level whatever criticism you want. And I even said that
you guys are so big into free speech. You criticize people who don't come on.
Argument. It's not a free speech argument. We weren't asking the government to compel you not.
No, that's the First Amendment. Don't go. The First Amendment is not free speech. You're
Turtle Boy. Didn't I say to you, maybe we can do it another time, just not right now? Or maybe I'm misremembering.
And that's what I said to you as well. I just said, like, in this moment where we don't know what's going on, maybe just don't be a dick for a little bit. And all of a sudden,
being a dick is like criticize him,
like call him a welfare recipient.
Well, I said you guys. What else would you call it?
Yes. So
you're getting paid to do nothing. You're getting paid to do nothing.
I would call it a mental health leave when the host it needs to seek
medical
care. That's what it is.
Right, but you were getting paid to do nothing.
What's that point?
My point. Well, you guys asked why I said the welfare comment. That's what that was about, and that upset you because you were being paid to do nothing.
It seems like you've got like a 1950s attitude of mental health, and that's what.
No, I understand.
Kind
I'm
of
serious.
underlying this.
It seems like you guys are the ones. If Kirk is really, in this terrible place, do you think it's safe for him to come back right now? Honestly.
It's not up to us to decide.
It's not for me to decide.
Yeah.
The
problem is that we didn't know what was going on with Kirk. We didn't know what the status was, and I honestly didn't even think that the show was coming back. So I was just like, again, a very simple thing. I said, "Hey, Turtle Boy, we've known each other for a long time. You've known Kirk for a long time. Mutually beneficial relationship. Sorry, Aiden. Maybe just don't be a dick for a little bit." And that seemed to be an insurmountable task for you. And I'm sorry. In retrospect, I should not have even talked to you. You could go on and do Mike and the Minifans, shit all over him, and maybe 12 people go and click on your blogs, and you make some money.
Come on,
mistakes were made.
Turtle Boy, it sounds like we're gonna get our comeuppance on Monday. So you got what you want.
I feel like this was therapeutic.
Good. I'm glad we can help.
Yeah. It was.
All right. Well, I got to go.
All right, boys.
I do my own show. So, all
right.
Thank you, Turtle Boy. Steve, we've never had better chemistry.
No, we haven't. This is great. This has been great. It really is an honor to make my Mike and the Minifans debut.
It's an honor for me as well, and thank you for coming on. Thank you for Visionless Dave and Blind Prison Mike and Turtle Boy, and I think first and foremost Kirk, because now people are actually going to watch this thing. And Steve, I'll talk to you Monday, and everyone else, I'll talk to you as well.
Wait, Mike, we actually have Dave Portnoy backstage. And he wants
All right, bring him on. Goodbye.
It's actually a pretty good one, Justin. Bye.
He has a few.
Another tough day at work today. Steve and Kirk think I suck. Throw back a few wobbly pops, feeling down on my luck. And the interns ruin every show. But it's still where we wanna go. It's Mike and the Minifans. 'Cause nobody had any better plans. You wanna be with DC and our aim in a hand. The host can't see it's Mike and the Minifans. And nobody's seen real MHB. This whole thing is a sham. You never see him pee, it's Mike and the Minifans.